Basketball season just ended, but of course, one of the biggest releases of the year, Prizm Basketball, has arrived or is about to arrive. If you're listening to this, we're just a day away from a huge release. The first look at these, some Cade Cunninghams, Evan Mobley, going to be the guys we're chasing. What are we thinking? How are we thinking Prizm Basketball is going to be this year? I think we've been talking a few months ago, I think, right as the playoffs were we were in the middle of playoffs, wasn't a ton of basketball, at least from this season's rookie class out there. So it felt like, boy, these guys are kind of just getting lost in the shuffle. This is all is going to change, obviously, with the release of Prizm. What do you guys think?
It's crazy how, what the time of the year it is right now. We're talking about
Summer
Prizm.
League.
We have Summer League. The finals just ended. We are, 2 months away from like a little preseason basketball training camp. The next year is right around the corner. Like, we're going to be getting collegiate products soon. And I feel like we have maybe 15 more basketball products that are coming out for this year. So, like, it feels weird. It feels weird to be talking about Prizm this late. Now, Prizm will have legs. The market will love it. There'll be huge cards pulled. The golds will be insane. Like, the Mojo Prizms are going to be ridiculous. What I do think is going to happen is, since we are so close to next season, I think the market will taper off a little bit. And you're going to start seeing, especially guys like Chet, OKC Thunder, putting up, the stats he's putting up in the Summer League out of the gate. That's going to get people speculating on next year already. They may start saving their money and be like, okay, I'm not going to buy this year's Prizm or this year's Optic or this year's NT. I'll just save it for whatever releases we're going to have early in the next season. So, I don't know. It's a weird time. It's a crazy time.
Yeah, I think if the positive spin is that I think that you could make an argument to say a lot of these big rookies that people are going to be chasing they've got a better supporting cast around them, like Cade Cunningham. It's got Jaden Ivey now, where you think Detroit might make some noise here. They might actually put together a really interesting team.
That's a good point.
Chet Holmgren obviously joining OKC. Josh Giddey. That really, and he's been a guy I feel like has of this rookie class, his value has ramped up. I feel like he's kind of become a favorite among collectors.
The
what
Magic
do you think,
kids,
C-Rad?
those two rookies that they have now, they got that number 1 pick.
Yeah,
you're right, dude. Like, this draft that just happened, in a strange way, maybe not a strange way, but it's actually going to help this draft class that we're still going through, because their teams have massively improved with the rookies that these guys have picked up. Because, they're rookies for a reason. They went to the bad teams, and then now another year of that, they got their rookie season underway. Then they were able to pick up more good young players that should even propel them to be, even better teams, maybe even better players in their second year. We don't see how good these kids are until they're usually their second, third year, right? Until we can really determine how viable they'll be, like in terms of like superstars or all-stars and stuff. So
yeah, and I didn't even mention the fact that, like, the Magic have obviously Suggs and Wagner in here.
That's what I was just saying.
Banchero, yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah, the fact that Paolo Banchero, the number 1 pick, goes there, like, that is as exciting a young team potentially on paper in basketball.
Yeah, those 3 teams you just said, like the Pistons, massively improved with the rookies they picked up. Thunder, obviously with Chet, is going to be a huge boon for that team, and then the Magic too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I get it. If there is maybe a little bit of pause of, like, does this thing lose steam faster than previous Prizm releases? Do you guys see that happen?
I was gonna say, in the last, so we got 2021 LaMelo Prizm last 2021 January. Okay, so we are a year and 6. We waited a year and a half to get the next rookies class Prizm. Now, in that year and a half span, the Prizm market has substantially cooled down, just across the board between football and basketball. So I'm very curious to see how the market responds. Obviously, we're still, like I said, this has been the hottest summer for sports cards that I've seen in the last 6-7 years. Like usually summer's a pretty dry time, but it's been firing all cylinders especially for football and basketball and baseball too. So I'm very curious to see how the market does. Let me ask you a question. So the schedule of releases have been so off. Do you think they're gonna try to eventually catch up, or do you think this is just the new schedule now? We're gonna get Prizm in the summertime.
Man, you're right. I mean, something has to give, right? This is either going to be the new norm, or we're going to get completely just destroyed by. I mean, we see it every fourth quarter, and we're slowly heading into it. But you see, like November and December historically, you see like so many releases, and with this backlog that we have, potentially we could see the biggest month ever in December for releases if they ever intend to catch up.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting there counting like a couple years ago, like, and it hasn't been as bad like the last couple years, but there was a couple Decembers where there's like 60 or 70 releases.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And like I think it was ridiculous. I mean, every Wednesday you would have like 6 or 7 releases, and then on Friday you would have like 8 releases, and then like I remember at one point there was like releases on Monday. Like we're doing a Monday release. I mean it was chaos. I think we may see that again, maybe not to the extent where they can just completely ramp up and catch up. I don't think we're going to see Prizm Basketball come out in January anymore. Yeah. I think it's going to be later.
Well, even that coming out in January was because
pushed.
Of the pandemic,
yeah.
Right? Because we usually see Prizm actually in November every year.
Yep. Yeah, usually about a month and a half after the season.
Yeah.
And that is like the perfect timing for Prizm because everybody has basketball in the dome. A lot of these rookies are playing, they're performing, you're getting like highlight dunks, like I mean, you're really seeing these players and how they're interacting with their teams.
And it's still early enough for you to really prospect.
And it's also early enough to where you don't know if like this surprise team can make a playoff run. You don't know. I mean, right now, like where Prizm came out, we know what these rookies did.
Yeah.
Like it's funny that you guys were saying we're like almost prospecting next year with how these teams are going to be performing with the new rookie class.
It's weird.
Like we're almost like there's going to be teams and PYTs that sell based on what said team did in the offseason.
Yeah.
More so than the rookie they're chasing for that specific product.
Right.
I mean, what a time. What a time. I mean, and I hope this isn't the new norm. I don't think this is a good time for Prizm to be released.
And I think, too, it's tough because I think that of all the sports, I think there's an overlap of basketball and football collectors, and you have so much of each product coming out right now that I think it can be a little overwhelming. If you are collecting both of those sports, that you just had Prizm Football a month ago and now Prizm Basketball, plus obviously some huge football releases still to come, it could feel a little overwhelming. And I guess is it going to change? I guess it depends on what happens here. Like if there's still a clear demand and things are fine, then I don't see why they would have any reason to change to rush things if everything seems to still be selling as well as it ever has despite the release date. But if it doesn't, then maybe they say, okay, we got to get back on track.
It's tough for the average collector when you have back-to-back releases like that, especially if there is crossover with football collectors and basketball collectors with both Prizms coming out like within a month of each other. We may see it again with Optic.
Yep.
Optic football still needs to come out. Yeah. Optic basketball needs to come out. Like, there's a chance that those can come out within a month of each other. And select football and select basketball and like NT basketball coming out. I mean, like you were saying, I think there will be a push to try to compensate and catch up, but it is going to be brutal, and certain products are not going to perform as well as they have historically just because people do not have unlimited resources to buy trading cards.
And that's the other thing that's I don't see it happening, but I feel like products are going to have to get on, like, are going to get lost on the cutting room floor, right? At some point.
Oh,
you're
whoa,
going
whoa,
to,
whoa.
Yeah, I know.
No,
I know.
they're
not going to deny the fact.
no,
You're right.
no.
We're getting recon basketball.
Yeah,
Right. I know.
we're getting them all.
I know. What's the new one? Photogenic basketball. I know that I just saw.
That just went straight to Dutch auction.
So, yeah,
and
no.
I didn't get any. I completely forgot because again, even though I lived this, I forgot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do this every single day of my life, and I forgot.
So no chance they're going to leave money on the table, even if it's a little bit of money.
There is no product that they are going to basically say, I know we were going to do this, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because
that is a conversation that in 12 years of doing this is not common. How many products have been scheduled for to get released and then canceled?
I've actually only seen Upper Deck do it recently.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's happened. It's in 12 years, I think it's happened less than 10 times.
Yeah. So I guess that my point be, yeah, if they're not willing to do that, then I just don't see how they can catch up without rushing this out.
This might
and
be the
then
new normal schedule.
Yeah.
And we'd have to adjust.
We don't want Prizm. We don't want Prizm in July.
No.
After the season's done.
We don't want Prizm in July.
No, we don't.
After the draft.
Prizm Basketball is coming out as the MLB All-Star Game is happening. That just everything about that sentence feels weird.
You know, at least this is NBA because about 3 months ago when Prizm Draft Basketball came out, I was like, this is the worst timed product of all time. We're like at the end of the NBA season, and we're getting Prizm Draft for the previous draft class.
That one could have been cut.
Could have been.
That one could have been.
But no way.
No way.
Not
and if they're not going to cut that.
Right. Then they're not cutting any.
Not cutting recon.
Not cutting anything. No, not at all. Let's get. No, go ahead, Sierra. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, I pray that we get Prizm Draft Basketball on time in October because, please, basketball gods.
That is where that product that's when it should release. That's
before the season starts.
Before the season starts. It's the only way that product truly has legs and can actually be collectible. It has to be before the season starts.
Yeah.
It has to be kind of like a preview product for these rookies. Mm-hmm. But we need to get away from the overlapping of pro releases and collegiate releases. Yeah. Because the collegiate releases will never be able to sustain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Prizm Draft, you sold it, but I don't think you had a lot of people asking for it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
That one really hit home for me when it did finally come out. I was like, oh wow, yeah, we are behind.
I mean, I had to do a double take and be like, is this really for 21-22? Or is it 22-23?
Yeah.
I thought it was 22-23, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, we're gonna have a real long overlap of years here, and rookie classes are gonna be chasing. But I'd rather have that than have
before the kids even get drafted.
Yeah, but we're having.
At least it's something different. It's where you're not pulling the Cade Cunningham college cards 3 weeks before the Prizm stuff comes out, because then it's like, yeah, what's the point?
You're pulling Cade Cunningham college cards and the season's over.
Right. Right.
Season's done. Season's done.
We're done.
We got a preview card.
Like,
I mean, we've already seen him in his NBA jersey, but here you go.
Saw about 60 games worth of it.
I don't think this was like the manufacturer's intention at all. I think the supply chain issues, have definitely been wreaking havoc from that aspect as well.
Obviously, I do feel like the last few years, since basically in a post-Zion Ja world, can we ever top it? Obviously, I don't feel like most people thought last year we could with LaMelo and Ant-Man, and I feel like it got pretty close, and I think now both guys are pretty, Edwards maybe beyond LaMelo in terms of some hobby love. Where are we at with this class? Is it pretty much Cade and then just a mix of guys, or is there a certain guy that now that the dust has settled from the season that you like more than the other, or you think the hobby's going to gravitate to?
I think that Similar to football, actually, there are multiple guys that you can go after in this draft class. And they've proven towards the end of. We started off the season really rough with these rookies. There was no storylines for them. They were playing okay. Their teams obviously, these rookie teams are always generally going to be losing. But they really a lot of them started to pick it up towards the end of the season. You started to see them being featured more on ESPN on a nightly basis, kind of more storylines coming out about them, about how they're playing. So similar to football, 2021 football, like I feel like there's when you're doing, especially if you're doing like a random or something, or random teams, there are more teams you'll be happy about if you do get them, like similar to football, right? So you got Cade with Pistons, Jalen Green Rockets, obviously Josh Giddey Thunder, the 2 rookies on the Magic that we talked about. I mean, Scotty Barnes was the rookie of the year, Evan Mobley for the Cavaliers. Obviously, Warriors is always going to be a hot team because they do have Kuminga and Moody, and then coming off of the championship, they're always going to be a hot team anyways. So, yeah, there's a lot of good teams to chase after in this set. I just, again, I'm curious because the Prizm market has drastically changed in the last year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be, in 3, 4, 5 years from now, we're going to look back on this rookie class, and there's going to be somebody that everybody is chasing that none of us mentioned.
Yep.
There's going to be that player that was maybe 18th pick overall, 19th pick overall, that just all of a sudden becomes an all-star. And that is the player. And I mean, we've always seen it. The window for that player may not be a huge window, and it may not last forever, but there's always those players that pop, and everybody goes back and tries to hunt down that Prizm release. So I think we got to take that in consideration as well, that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the road, there's going to be players that we go back. Now, the one thing about Prizm as I see it now as a basketball release and not a football release, the days of pulling a base rookie card and it being worth $150, $200 raw, I think those days are over.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the cards that are going to hold monetary value are going to be not even necessarily silvers. I think it's going to be those rookies that are stamped and numbered on the back, regardless if they're like numbered to 299 or 249 or 199. Those are going to be the rookie cards that you're going to want to look for and collect and hold on to.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like this year's like Prizm football where, if you pull a Mac or a Trevor Lawrence base, you still feel pretty good about yourself. I don't see a Cade Cunningham or a Josh Giddey
Now,
base
I mean,
rookie
they are
going
to be probably worth $20, $30, $40, which is an amazing value for a base card. I just think that over the last 2-3 years, we've lived in this ridiculous market where, I mean, remember Luka bases at one point. We would open up an 18-19 Prizm, and it would be Luka base $600-$700 raw.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
They're not that much anymore.
Yeah. No. You know what? One wrinkle. Obviously coming off of the John Morant Zion era, and then we went into the LaMelo and Ant-Man Prizm, and with grading, obviously not accepting the lower tiers. So that was a big thing for Prizm last year, right? It's no longer you can just get into a break and then send all your base cards to PSA and hope for the best. Mm-hmm. People really had to be mindful of the cards that they were sending in during Prizm last year. Now, with that said, PSA has opened up back their lower tier service. So, I'm not saying people are still going to rush out and send every single base card. I'm sure people are way more mindful in this current market. But I feel like we are going to start seeing a lot more graded cards than we did last year because of how closed off Beckett and PSA were.
Yeah, I think you're going to see parallel rookies and you're going to see silver rookies. I just don't think you're going to see an influx of somebody submitting 70 base rookies of Cade Cunningham into a group submission like you would back Zion's year or Luka's year.
Maybe. I wonder though. I think what is the current price for the lowest tier? I think it's like 30.
It's like 30. It's like $30 or something like that.
$30 a pop.
Yeah.
I wonder if the raw card sells for 30 and you can get it graded for 30. if you're able to get like a PSA 10, would it be worth?
But
more than
remember,
$60?
I mean, and we've seen this the last couple years, like PSA isn't handing out 10s like they used to hand out 10s. Like you could probably submit 40 cards, and you may only get 4 10s back.
Mm-hmm.
You may get 39s and a couple 8s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm curious. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. I'm just curious with the lower tier being open again, what people are gonna do with their Cade Cunninghams and Evan Mobley, like just base rookies. Are they gonna send them in? Or are they gonna send them to like maybe SGC? Like, people are still going to try it because it'll all depend on what they resell.
Well, people were doing it before because you would get your cards graded and you were basically just printing money.
Yeah.
Like you were like, I'm going to send my cards in.
Especially when they were like
they're going to get 10s.
$15 a grade.
Yeah, spent $15, got it back. Now I'm into this card for $25, but it's selling for $150 all day long.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to send in a Cade Cunningham, you were to get a 9 now in today's market, I think it's a wash at that point. $30 for grading. Card's probably worth $30. You get it slabbed, it's probably worth $60 now. So
that's a PSA 9?
PSA 9. And
yeah.
Hypothetical. I'm not saying that like Cade Cunninghams are going to come out and they're going to be $30. I don't know. I'm just saying that as an example.
What I'm also going to be looking for this year too is obviously I want to see what the inserts look like. I want to see what photos they use for the players. Obviously, there's got to be every year Panini does a pretty good job of adding something extra besides just chasing the rookie stuff.
Yep.
Like 2021 Prizm will forever be a good product to open, just based on the fact that those LeBron Kobe tribute cards are going to be in there, and there's always going to be parallels of that that people are going to want to chase.
Yeah, if there's something special about, like, say, maybe they do it to a Steph Curry card this year or something like that.
They have the 75th anniversary set. Now,
yes,
from the mock-up, they look okay, but maybe in person, maybe if we see parallels of it, they might look better.
Some checklists I was reading were alluding to that as a chase in this set, so I don't know I didn't get to see what the exact odds are for pulling those inserts. I guess we'll find out on Friday.
And if there's parallels of that. Because, Panini has been doing a pretty good job of adding all these 75th anniversary parallels in all of their products. And they've, for the most part, been all pretty nice. So we'll see what the Prizm one looks like. I'm curious.
Yeah, I think it needs maybe a little bit of that kind of push. With again, this is not a weak rookie class. I think it has the potential. Down the road, we look at this product and we go, wow, it's filled with like 4 or 5 guys who made it. I think maybe even more so than some of the previous rookie classes that I think were pretty top heavy with these superstar guys. Yeah. Whereas this one, I just think the depth of this class could really be the staying power.
And it looks like that the upcoming draft is going to be like that as well.
Prizm Basketball, always an exciting day. Prizm Basketball release day this Friday. We'll be breaking it over on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Go find some spots and some group breaks over at Mojobreak.com. We're ripping it live on Loop, our debut on Loop. Make sure to download the app. We're going to be breaking a Prizm Basketball all day long over there. Should be a lot of fun.
And we also have it available on MojobreakShop.com.
There you go.
If you want to get your own box and do your own group break at home.
There you go. We got it. The whole Mojobreak family is going to have.
Everybody's got it.
Yeah. Everyone.
Everybody.
Everyone. If you don't have it, what are you doing?
First off the line, too.